He doesn't say ribbit, he's a toad.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Toads don't say ribbit, they say, oh dear. Hi everyone, it's Cindy and welcome back to Studioloo. So we made it! It's day 31 and we are playing with nostalgia today. So my favorite kind of nostalgia is childhood memories. So this week I had a really exciting, fun week. My biggest little happy moment was that I saw my first toad of summer. I know it's really late in summer to be seeing your first toad. I'm sure many of you who garden or hike have seen all sorts of them, but I don't know, they've been elusive this year. I have not seen them, but my daughter's been seeing them, my husband's been seeing them, everyone but me, and they're my spirit animal. They're my very favorite thing. And so I have wonderfully fond memories of being an only child who lived in essentially a retirement village, and so I didn't have a whole lot of little kid friends when I was a little kid. So I spent a ton of time outdoors in nature and with my little senior friends, the seniors who lived in my town, and toads as well as frogs were some of my favorite little, how do you explain, the way that maybe you bypass your time in ways that you don't even think about, like those quiet kind of moments where you're just sitting outside, right? I'm assuming people still do this. It's not just me, but so I have been working on this for a little while now. This is my little watercolor toads. It's a digital. You can find it in my shop. And if you're on my Patreon at any level, you will find it there as well. So it's my little kind of bonus for the end of Junk Journal July, and just to sort of say thank you and I hope you had fun, because I definitely had fun. So I'm going to make a couple projects today maybe because I want to use the larger floral kind of more toads, and I want to use one of the little toads, maybe this guy, and make a couple little things and just have a chat with you about stuff in general. So I think we'll make a couple collages or something, and maybe I'll use the bigger toads. I'll just put this page aside. So yeah, July was a whirlwind for me. I really do enjoy quite a lot participating in Junk Journal July, Junk Journal January, these sort of things. I have another what will be an open collaboration that I'm planning for next year already as well. I did Mass Make March that I hosted this year, but I've got another idea for next year that I'm not ready to share quite yet, but it will be sort of an early to mid-year sort of collaboration. So that's my agenda with kind of collaborations that are coming out of me here. But yeah, I've enjoyed Junk Journal July. It's nice to have prompts that are issued to you from other people, because then you're not thinking in the same way necessarily that you would if you were the one coming up with the prompts, or not using prompts at all if you were just kind of working away on your journal. So I've been able to create a lot of good useful ephemera for my art sample journals, and I've been able to keep up with these videos. Amazing. I always kind of surprise myself that I managed to keep up and try to bring you kind of interesting and different projects most of the time. Yeah, so it's been fun. I've also enjoyed watching other people creating. It's been nice to sort of feel that community type spirit. So I think what I would like to make today are a couple things. Maybe a journal tag, and then a free-form kind of larger journal card with this. So I'm going to grab some scraps because I need to use some scraps up. Lots of scraps that we created actually during Junk Journal July. Okay. And then I just want to have them as kind of like collage fodder. So I really love this background page, this kind of paper that I made as one of these days. I think I'll use this one. So let's work on this first. So I think I will just glue this book page down. This was just from blotting something. Alcohol ink, I believe. And then I'm going to ink up my little toad with some vintage photo. So tell me what you've enjoyed most during Junk Journal July. I would love to hear from you. Did you find any new creators that you are excited about? Did you learn any cool projects or try something for the first time? Did anything work out way better than expected and you had like a light bulb moment and it will like forever change how you journal? Or did anything maybe not work out and you're kind of like problem solving on how to make it work? I would love to know any of those things from you, as well as just your general thoughts about Junk Journal July. Okay, I've been thinking Junk Journal July has inspired me in a lot of ways, mostly around, I'd say, the topic of collage fodder. So, you know, I've always heard of collage fodder, and it's actually something that I've always made without even giving it that name or title. I've always made little bits of things for collage, or I've saved little bits of things, you know, because collage fodder can be anything. So I participated a few, not all, but some of the days this year of the free fodder challenge from Willow Wanders' fodder school. And I had a little fun with that. That was a nice kind of thing to participate in. And I totally get why people would like to do fodder school. I think it's really a fun, you know, inspiring thing to do. So yeah, from my experience, I would recommend it. I think it was great. I probably want to go back and play with it a little bit more because I didn't get to like participate as much as I would like to. But on the topic of fodder, I have no idea who came up with that term for, you know, these things that we create that are like for our journals, collaging. And so, like, I like the term because I think it's become a recognizable one in the creation of collage fodder. So I'm thinking I probably want to start doing some fodder type videos or some projects, but I don't want to like use that term if it is kind of associated with somebody specifically. Like, I know about fodder school, but I think my first time hearing it called collage fodder was actually through Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. And I mean, I've heard it other places too. So I can't say where that may have first come from, but I'm just wondering if any of you know, let me know. And if it's already something that's pretty much associated with a certain person's brand and other people shouldn't really, you know, use it, then I won't. I have a goal to try to be like, you know, have people recognize what I would like to do, but also I may limit the audience in some way, or I may brainstorm for a better name for it than what is already out there. So yeah, because I care about not like stealing from other people's fire, you know? Okay, so I think I'm going to start just gluing this down. Okay. Not going to stress too much about like, is this placed exactly where I had it? I will figure that out. I love this dyed parchment paper. I did this, well, it's actually not dyed parchment paper. It's neither of those things. It's neither dyed nor is it parchment paper. It's a project that I did for my Patreon. Which I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, consider I'm calling it something it isn't. But yeah, it was a fun technique. And this is avocado dyed book page. Now let's glue down this. So this digital, so you can print these large like this, or you can also print them at 50%. I try to make them big because I know people like to use them in all different kinds of projects, you know, so I try to meet everyone's needs in terms of like the size that I make things digitally. Okay. Click that right there so we can cover up all that text. And this one next. This is just a painted book page with some really pretty green gold kind of paper, or paint rather. And this is from a digital that I'm working on. I actually spent a lot of July making mock-ups for digital collections and stuff that I will have coming out over the next probably months. I'm trying to get some work like ahead of time, and I sometimes end up like starting, just like with journal stuff lately. I don't know, I'm going through this phase of like, I forget, what do you call it in the fiber world? We call it like second sock syndrome, or like start-itis, like, you know, you keep starting new projects without finishing the old one. So I was doing that a little bit in July, definitely. I kind of got excited, and this is what happens, like I get revved about something and then I want to start it right away, and I forget that, like, you know, 2 days ago I was revved about something else and that never got finished. And so now we have all these things, and like you'll probably have noticed that I have not had a lot of flip through videos lately, and I have not released any journals lately. I'm sure some people are like, what, when are you gonna put another journal out or something, or you're waiting for something that you've seen on this channel. I totally get it, and I hear you loud and clear. It's coming. But first, I must take a little vacation with my little family, and that is coming up pretty soon, which is good because I don't need a vacation from what I do here, but I need a vacation from my job because it's been bananas, and it's going to stay bananas for a little while, I think. It's just the way things go. Just a little bit of that there. Now, maybe we could find some words to put on these before we cut them out. So, off to my little word bin. With every loss, the hollow place left behind shows the shape of our love. Oh, that's so sweet. That would be really sweet on here, but I think that's got to go into a specific message type, you know, journal. It can't be generic. But hurry, keep racing, as long as there's light, or you will be caught in the woods overnight. That's kind of cute. That's an autumnal. I cut out a lot of things that are kind of morose from this book that was a poetry book. It had things that were just, you know, they were beautiful but also morose, and yeah, sometimes those things can be a little hard to use. There's this first day in the wilds. Oh look, nostalgia, how funny for today. That's exactly what we're playing with, but I think that's too specific. It's too like, here's exactly what we're doing for me. I kind of like this, the first day in the wilds. It's like a snip from a book. Let me cut that down a little bit unevenly. It could be cute there. I'm going to use this. I'm going to stop debating, and I'm going to use those 2 snippets. But for this one, I want to cut it down a little differently. So it's not just, you know, so blocky. I want to be able to like play with it that way. And this one, do I have? I do. I want some of my grungy book spine bits here that I can put this on top of. So let's glue this. Onto here. Just give it a press for just a moment. Just take a little pause. Okay. Then I'm going to just tear some of the bottom of this off, kind of jiggity jaggedy like so. Down here maybe. I kind of like it at the bottom. Do I like it at the top better though? I think I do like it at the top better. So let's get this glued. Perfect. And this one, I think I want to ink these. Actually, I can do it after I glue it. Let's just glue it on and then ink. Because I know I don't want to just ink the edges. I'll probably want to ink over the whole thing. So I don't need to wait to glue it down. But I love toads, and I feel like they're these wise little creatures that we know so little about, that they probably have all sorts of smart things to say. We just can't speak their language. The other thing about nostalgia that I feel today is kind of about never losing that thing that you had as a child. You know, that kind of magical feeling of just everything around you had some kind of hidden message, or it was just, you had a special relationship with, like, you know, the pond near your house, or the farmer's barn near your house or something. I had both of those things when I was a kid. We had a little pond at a mill, and I lived in a farming / retirement community, so there was definitely barns everywhere that we would sneak off into at times and not do anything bad, just hang out in a barn, you know, and sit with the cows and, you know, the kind of things you do when you're a small town, super village, small town kid, little tiny. I'm going to tear this one. And I would catch all sorts of frogs and toads, and I would let them go again. And for the longest time, I was like obsessed with trying to catch this one really enormous frog at the pond. It always hung out in the same place, and it definitely bested me, I would say, for years, until one day I finally caught it, and I was so excited, and I brought it home to show my parents, and they were like not as enthused as I was, because I don't think that they understood the momentous, you know, time it was that I had been trying to catch this frog for like ever. And I finally caught him, and he was such a giant bullfrog that he just filled up both my hands. He was huge. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. And then I just let him go. And then I was kind of like, okay, now what? Now what big challenges in my life will I have? So I'm going to go do a little stitching on these, and I will show you the final toadiness. Okay, so these are all stitched around. I added a little eco-printed fabric to the top of this one, and then just did some kind of wild fun stitches around this one. So these are 2 fun pieces of ephemera, and I guess I will leave you to say thank you so much for hanging out with me during Junk Journal July. If you are new here, if you found me through this collaboration, welcome, welcome, and thank you for, coming along and hanging out here on my channel. I will definitely continue doing fun things beyond this challenge. This is right kind of up my alley. And if I leave you with some parting words about nostalgia, it would be never forget the things that made you a child, that made you who you are, and try to stay connected to that, because I think from the time that we're born and that we're young, all the way up to when we are, silver and gray and in our final times, that we have something to impart on the world that is a part of our heart, and that starts very early. And you should never lose that by being busy at work or having responsibilities or any of that. Just remember that thing, because it's what makes you you and keeps you connected to the rest of the humans around you. So that being said, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Bye for now.